Hello, everyone, and welcome to Optimus Fantasy Football. I am Nate Polvogt. I am joined here by my Monday co-host, the one and only Keith Flemming. We're here because it's week 14 coming up here, Keith. The last final push for the fantasy playoffs is here, and we're here to help you set those waiver wire claims to make sure your rosters are set and ready to go for those fantasy championship pushes. Keith, how are your teams looking, man? I mean, do you have a realistic shot in most of your leagues of getting in?
Hell no. I don't do a lot of leagues. I think most people know that I'm more of a DFS guy. Partly because I do a lot better DFS than I do season long. I have really enjoyed the Dynasty League that I started in last year. It was actually a startup Dynasty League. I know we're doing the same in Optimus, which is cool. Like I do enjoy those. Right now I could potentially make the playoffs in 4 of 8 leagues, but 2 of them it's going to be tough, man. And what stinks is it's the tell us oldest time, and the 2 that I'm probably going to miss that I should make it, where I have the first and second most points in the league scored in those 2 leagues, but unfortunately in both of them I have the most points against, and that's why everybody should go to the median average, being an extra game. Like, now that I've played that in a couple of leagues, I don't want to go back. Like, you have obviously your opponent, but then if you outscore the average score for the week, that's another win. And that can separate and make a big difference for teams like mine in those 2 leagues where I have really good teams, but it's just every week I run into a freaking buzzsaw, man.
I've got a couple leagues where every week I run into like a tile saw that can't cut anything unless it's stone. So I've been fine most of the time in a lot of them, but injuries, man, have been killer. Like my home league, I was 4-2 and I'm now 5-7. It's brutal. Yeah.
Who'd you lose in that one? What was the loss that you couldn't get over?
There were a handful of them.
Which one?
Lauren hurt.
How much time you got?
Right. Malik Neighbors. I've had to pivot to playing guys like Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, which hasn't been terrible.
Oh, I was gonna say that's been, if you picked up Dart or Brissett, that has worked out. I don't care who your quarterback was. But overall,
Dart's been great.
It's tough. Yeah, Brissett has too, though. I think he's been a top 12 quarterback every week.
Yeah, I mean, like the downturn of Baker Mayfield's hurt me quite a bit.
Oh,
too.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for him, man. He was like, it felt like he was on the doorstep of becoming seriously like one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the NFL. And we're talking about like actual quarterback play, not fantasy. Like,
right. And I think he still can.
Oh no,
his team has just been so beat up,
so decimated. Now he's hurt, and I hate it because it's just so ironic. We came in this league saying that they had too many wide receivers, and who knew that they didn't have enough?
Not even close to enough. All right, Keith, let's get into it here. We're going to get into these week 14 waiver wire selections. We're going to start with quarterback. It's not pretty out there. Options right now, basically the top options are CJ Stroud in Houston, Tyrod Taylor, New York. Bryce Young obviously has had a little bit of a breakout the last few weeks. He's definitely an option who's available. And Trevor Lawrence, like, you can't deny that he's playing better. He's one of those guys who's still floating out there on the waiver wire. He's less than 30% rostered. Good chance he's available in your leagues. Out of this list, man, who are you targeting first? Like, who's your priority?
It's Stroud. There's a lot of signs that the Texans offense is sort of finding that 5th gear. Woody Marks and Chubb, like I like the split that they're doing now between the 2 of those guys. Jaden Higgins coming on is just so huge for that passing game because it was Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. And like we saw this week, Higgins, his highest receiving total this year, I think it tied for the most targets he's had. More importantly, if you're a Higgins owner, Christian Kirk was not like targeted at all. And I know that it was not a great game for Stroud fantasy wise, but I thought it was a good game from him from a QB perspective. They're throwing it now, the sixth most in the league, almost 40 times per game. I would not be surprised if the Texans offense starts coming on down the stretch, and CJ Stroud's a big part to that. And I think the Texans are a team, look out. Like if their offense can get going, I think they have a legit chance to win the AFC because defense travels, right? So I don't think it matters where they have to go play in the playoffs. As long as they can score points, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Well, I wrote about CJ Stroud today in the OptimusFantasy.com waiver wire article, which is live right now on OptimusFantasy.com. The thing with Stroud is, like, yeah, this week wasn't super impressive from a fantasy perspective, the 10 fantasy points on the dot, but it was his first game back, right? He missed 3 games with the concussion. You want to ease these guys back in after coming back from something like that. And it was against an Indy team that's really limping around right now. He didn't have to do a whole lot. They skewed towards the run a lot more than usual this past week. They're about 8% higher on the percentages of run versus pass. I don't expect that to continue because, like you said, this is a team in contention, right? They can legitimately win this division right now.
Yeah.
It's not a super great division, and they're chasing the Colts, who, like we just said, they're faltering now. They're 8-4. This is a team that they need Daniel Jones to get
is
right.
injured. Yeah. Like
right.
Another one of those that just it sucks the timing. I feel bad for him.
Yep. And there's something off with Jonathan Taylor. Like they're just not getting the production out of him these last few weeks they were before. Possibly partially because defenses can now lean on the run in Indy.
That's what it is. They're just selling out on the run, knowing that Jones right now, I think physically can't really push it down the field. So they don't have to worry about getting beat over the top like they did early this year, with guys like Alex Pierce, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happened. But I am a little surprised that Taylor hasn't still been able to get off because now Houston is a totally different deal. Like that's just an elite defense that happens. But to your point, I think he scored 29 fantasy points since he scored 5 billion versus my Falcons. What seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It hasn't been productive since. He's got a game with sub 10 points and a game with sub 15 points over the last 2 weeks. I mean, again, Kansas City and Houston, these were 2 tough games, 2 tough matchups.
That's true.
Even though Kansas City's 6-6, they're still a tough
team.
Very
good run defense too.
Yeah, very good run defense. But yeah, I think Stroud's my number 1 target, but not far behind him, dude. Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod. I like it.
I like Tyrod Taylor, but this isn't like the Tyrod Taylor we've seen over the last 5 or 6 seasons. This is hearkening back to that 2014, 15, 16, 17 stretch where he was really good. But what was good about him is he was using his legs. He was moving, he was running, he was getting yards on the ground. That's what he's done this year. I mean, he's basically, so right now, 27 carries for 143 yards. That's 5 total appearances, 3 starts. In those 3 starts, he's had 5 or more carries. If he's going to continue using his legs, which he's going to have to in this offense, he's a guy who's going to get you at least 15 fantasy points. He's averaging something around 17.9 fantasy points in his 3 starts. And only one of those was with Garrett Wilson on the field. The other 2, no Garrett Wilson. There's no guarantee we get Wilson back.
But they got 2 talented wide receivers like Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie. No matter what people want to say, like very talented dudes. So what do they have to lose? And the Jets are down all the time. That's the other great thing about, like, I always want these quarterbacks and offenses that have terrible defenses because it means that they're going to be in chuck it mode early. And that's what happened to the Jets this last week. They were in chuck it mode, I think, in like the second quarter.
Yeah, they were. It happened really quickly. And
got behind. Of course, they came back and won. Appreciate that, Atlanta.
Of course. Assholes. Yeah, just barely, but all right. What about Bryce Young? I mean, we've seen a little bit of a resurgence from him. The last 2 weeks the last 3 weeks, he's had 2 games of 25 plus fantasy points. Is this for real or is this just matchups? Because at first I thought matchup, right? But then he goes out and does it against the Rams, beats a really, really good Los Angeles team that a lot of people believe is the best team in the NFC. Keith, can he do this going forward? I mean, he's got the bye in week 14, so obviously this is someone you're rostering for future use. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and Seattle in his last 3 matchups.
That's what I was about to say. I think he can because he's playing the Saints and the Bucks 2 out of the next 3 games, and he's playing the Saints and the Bucks 3 out of his last 4. Neither one of those pass defenses are what I would call stout. So he can do that. I also think it's interesting that, I know we're going to talk about Coker a lot more when we get to the receivers, but I have been a Jalen Coker stan for forever. He's on a crap ton of my best ball teams this year. I've been pretty disappointed, obviously, up until this week. I know that he started the season on IR, but he hasn't seemed to be a focal point again until this past week. But they have some, again, talented weapons around Bryce Young. Like you have Xavier Legette, you have Ted McMillan, Jalen Coker, like Jatavian Sanders is a guy that's 22 years old, talented young tight end, pass catcher. So I think he can. And the other thing is Bryce is what a lot of these young quarterbacks deal with. So much change, right? For such a young career, only his 3rd season. He's already, I think, been with 3 different offensive coordinators. It takes time. And he's also seeming to figure it out. I know I'm rooting for Bryce. I had really high hopes for him coming into the league, despite his size. It looked like it was going the wrong way. Obviously, the first year and a half, he turned it on last year, and then he's been up and down. But to your point, he seems to be playing, a lot more consistent over the last month.
Well, consistent, and he's finding his weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
We finally saw Jalen Coker, who we will talk about later, involved. That's going to help Bryce Young long term. And their running game, I mean, really, Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle were a pretty effective committee yesterday, and that definitely helped them as well.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle had that job to himself for about, what was it, 3 weeks, and now they're back where we started, 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Trevor Lawrence? I mean, he's been decent. He's got 2 straight performances of 20+ fantasy points. You look at the schedule: Indy, the Jets, Denver, and then Indy again week 17. Obviously, week 16 against Denver, not an ideal matchup for the veteran quarterback, but those other ones, he's at least maybe a consideration in 2 QB leagues if you're in the playoffs.
Oh, I mean, he has to be, if nothing else. I mean, just look at the Jags. What is this? The last 5 weeks, 30 points, 29 points, 35 points, 27 points, 25 points. When an offense scores points at that rate, the quarterback's going to have good games. He just is. They can't all come on the ground. And he's another guy that seems to be getting more comfortable. The addition of Jacoby Myers, I think, has really helped because they thought they had kind of solved the pass catching or weapons part of this offense. And I think the combination of losing Evan Ingram, who is such a heavily targeted guy by Trevor Lawrence, and then Hunter being hurt, BTJ being hurt, it's took a while to get going. I hate that he just lost, it looks like, Parker Washington, but I do think that he can still, put up some good games. Obviously, the Colts and Jets matchups are juicy. And he's another guy that uses his legs some, which is always, helpful.
Well, and don't count out Tim Patrick in a pinch, right? He's a pretty reliable receiver. And
I forgot he was even there, to be honest.
I did too until I looked at the depth chart. But hey, look, we're not here. We have to know 32 NFL teams. Some players fall through the cracks here.
Jacoby Myers, by the way, over 30% target share already in consecutive games. Expect him to feast. I think now with Parker Washington out, he'll probably be in the slot a little bit more too.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a problem, especially if you're a BTJ manager. It's not going to make you happy. All right, so out of these quarterbacks that we've talked about, Keith, we got to help Carly here over on Twitch. She's got Lamar Jackson. Which one of these guys reliably do you feel like you can start over Jackson rest away? Because you can't start Lamar Jackson right now.
I don't know if you can't start Lamar Jackson now. Because to be honest, looking at these quarterbacks, I think I would still give it, believe it or not, another week with Lamar. They don't have the toughest schedule coming up. They play the Steelers, who are terrible versus the pass, the Bengals, who are terrible versus the pass, the Patriots, who are terrible versus the pass. That's their next 3 games. But if I had to, again, pick one, I would probably go with, I get it. I do, Carly. I know he just scored 6.54 points versus the Bengals. I totally understand it. But Josh Allen just scored 10 points the week before in his start. Like, I mean, it does happen, even to the really good ones. And he's had enough good games this year where, like, I don't think you can just throw it to the side. Something's up for sure, but I wouldn't get too antsy, but I would go with Stroud. That would still be the guy that I think is best, especially, again, if you want to go Tyrod Taylor too, you made a really good case because the Jets are going to be down. It's going to be a little bit like the Jacoby Brissett situation where one of the big reasons Brissett is having so much success is because they're down early. And that happened again this week. So, because I mean, it was another week where at the half I was going, damn it, I finally ran out of that gravy train in DFS. And then what did he do? He had another really big second half and ended up being a good play. So, but I would recommend for Carly, like I would think long and hard before sitting Lamar, especially against the Steelers.
Well, okay, so here's what I'll say. It's not just last week that's concerning. It's the last 3 weeks of sub 8 fantasy points from Lamar. It's just been bad. There's something not right. And this offense really isn't functioning well outside of Derrick Henry. You can't trust the receivers. You can't trust Mark Andrews. You can't trust Isaiah Likely. The line hasn't been great, and this defense really hasn't been very good either, which is not helping. Doug Royer here on Facebook saying Lamar's not Lamar, which is exactly the problem.
He's definitely banged up because they're not letting him run. Like that's the biggest key. They are not letting him run, especially in the red zone. Derrick Henry had the most carries inside the 5 in a game with 6 2 weeks ago since they started tracking that whenever, I don't know when fantasy point status started. But so, I mean, I don't think there's any other explanation for that than they're concerned he's going to get hurt, right? Like, or that he is hurt and they're concerned he's going to get more hurt. But I do think, again, with it being a Thursday game, he's going to get basically 10 days to rest up before this matchup. If it's the 4 names out there that, we just saw, I think I'd still roll the dice one more week with him.
Yes, I'm okay with that, but I would also grab one of these guys.
You need to make a move for sure. You need insurance. If
something happens, yeah. All right, before we move on to running backs, we got a couple of questions in the chat I want to get to here real quick, Keith. We got Sure Adversity 73 on YouTube. He's up by 2, facing Stephon Diggs tonight. Should he start Ramondre Stevenson or Hunter Henry to try and counteract? Which way are you going?
Man. So because you're only up 2, and you would have to assume Diggs is going to at least score some points, right? I think I would start Stevenson. The Giants are so bad versus the run that I think there's a chance he scores a touchdown, which obviously that's huge. And Hunter Henry, like if you had a little bigger lead, I would say go with Hunter Henry because he's the safe play, right? Like he's probably going to get you like 6 to 12 points. That's what he does almost every, week. But I just think that Stevenson, especially if say the Patriots get up early, I'm assuming they're going to just keep running it, and you don't want to put miles on TreVeyon Henderson for nothing. I could just see this being a game that Stevenson ends up getting a good bit of work and could find the end zone. Giants are, I think, the worst run defense in football right now. They're averaging 5.7 yards per carry. It's rough.
They are. And like last week, Stevenson only had 6 carries, which isn't exciting, but TreVeyon Henderson didn't have a ton of work either. I think this is going to be a Stevenson heavy night. Quite honestly, this game should be pretty much in hand on the New England side pretty quickly. So I'm the same. Normally I'd say Hunter Henry. If they're playing a different team, thought it was going to be a higher scoring game, I'd probably say Hunter Henry, but it's not going to be. So, I'm with you here. We got Jamie Parag on YouTube. I have a team where I'm down by 5 with my opponent has Henderson and Singletary tonight. Says I have a 3% chance of winning. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to see much from Singletary or Henderson, but if you're already down, I don't think that's a great situation.
No, he's saying he's up 5, right?
Oh, no. Down by 5.
Oh. Well, then that's a very good point, Jamie. I don't know how it's 5%. I guess they're saying that there will be 3 fumbles by those guys and a combined 0 yards. Don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. It's going to need negative points. That's a rare occurrence to get that many. All right, man. We're going to move on to these waiver wire running
AKA
backs.
Darnell Mooney is what I like to call
it. Fair enough.
He's had a couple with the Falcons, seriously, where he's had 1 catch for a fumble and negative points.
Yeah, there was a point last night during that Commanders-Broncos game where I thought I was going to get negative points out of Marcus Mariota, which was really exciting.
He ended up having, again, another, like,
he did.
I keep telling people, like, these running quarterbacks, it's a freaking cheat code, man.
It's that second half, man. It's that second half.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, with the running backs, we're kind of getting to a point now with the playoffs approaching. We're getting into handcuff territory. Blake Corum's the first one I want to talk about because not only is he a handcuff, but he seems to kind of start to be developing some standalone value. He had, 7 carries for 80 yards, 7 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown yesterday. Kyren Williams got his too. But if you're a fantasy manager, whether you are a Kyren Williams manager or not, I feel like you should be going out as a priority at running back, getting Blake Corum right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you need running backs, I wouldn't be making moves if that's a strength at your position. I will just warn people because every time, and I mean every time, Blake Corum looks like he's getting, close to an even split at running back, it seems like the next game Kyren Williams gets 90% of the volume. So I just want to warn people because I've picked up Blake Corum, I think at least twice this year in some leagues thinking, oh, it's coming. And then the next 2 weeks, he gets 6 carries combined. So just be careful with that. But the other thing is the Rams potentially could, have meaningless games coming up. That is a possibility depending on how the division shakes out, like what the Seahawks do the next couple of weeks. So that would, I think, obviously lead to them resting Kyren Williams and, Blake Corum playing. But can we just for a second talk about the Chicago Bears are the number 1 seed in the NFC, just like everybody had on their bingo cards.
Oh, I
13 weeks.
Got it tattooed on my arm before the season started. Bears, potential Super Bowl champions. The Bears. It's wild. I don't know what else to say about it. The Rams losing to Carolina is kind of, I'm still in shock.
I don't understand Carolina. They can look like world beaters and then look awful. I don't remember a team. It's been a long time since I've seen a team like this where they've had a lot of really good wins this year, against good teams.
Yes, they have.
They beat the Packers, I think, right? They have done an incredible job, but then they've lost some games. It's how the hell did you lose that one?
This is a very confusing team. I think it's a team, though, that's growing.
They're young.
They're learning, they're growing, they're young.
Yep.
They've got a really solid core moving forward. This is a team that could be scary in the NFC in a couple of years.
Yep.
Where we're really talking about them being serious contenders. My thing with Blake Corum is I know he's not going to have a lot of standalone value, and it's hard to know when he's going to pop and have that 8 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. But if something happens to Kyren Williams, we already know
he's a heartbeat away from the White House, basically.
Yep. Tyler Allgeier, kind of in that same territory to me. Almost has a little bit more standalone value depending on the matchups. This week was one for me where I told a handful of people they should start him. It paid off. He got the touchdown. But if Bijan Robinson goes down right now, especially with Kirk Cousins behind center, Tyler Allgeier becomes very valuable in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Allgeier is one of the few guys that he's worth rostering if you're really weak at running back because Corum is a handcuff. Allgeier is a guy that is gonna get touches in the red zone every game. He just does. That's what they do. They put him in short yardage situations a lot of times, definitely in the red zone. And it's the right move. I know it frustrates Bijan owners, and I get it, but that's not Bijan's strength. Bijan is not somebody who, will break tackles. He'll break people's ankles, but he's not going to break tackle. So in short spaces, it's tough for him. So I like Allgeier. By the way, Allgeier, I believe, has scored a touchdown every even week this season. For those that are not keeping count, this week's an even week. So it should means he should score this week.
Yeah. He did not score on the even week 12, but every other even week he has scored. You're correct.
Oh, he's due then.
Yeah, he is due, even though he had one last week. Look, we watched Bijan Robinson get a handful of red zone carries yesterday, and he didn't score a touchdown because he's just not an efficient red zone running back, especially inside the 5. Like you're saying, he's a guy who needs space. He needs to be able to slip and slide. You can't do that inside the 5. That's where Allgeier comes in.
Yep.
And we knew exactly you're going to see Allgeier inside the 5, especially with Penix out. It's just plain and simple. You're either going to see that or a dumb touchdown to David Sills.
And London returning will actually help both backs because now there is no respect for the pass, and there shouldn't be. But once London is back, they'll have to actually, not basically have 8-9 in the box every play.
Yep, exactly. What about Bhayshul Tuten? He got a red zone touchdown.
I mean, he's fine. He's another one of those guys kind of in the Allgeier category where he can score any week. He gets enough touches for that, but it's limited, right? Like he's an injury away, though. And Etienne is somebody who historically has struggled with injuries, but I think he's basically in the same vein as sort of Allgeier.
Yeah. With the news that Justice Hill's on IR, do you have any interest in rostering Keaton Mitchell as a handcuff?
Hell yeah.
Derrick Henry?
Yes. I know it's Derrick Henry season. I get that. But Keaton Mitchell is explosive, man. Like, he is so good. And I would think with the issues that they're having with Lamar, they need to find other ways, right, to move the ball. This will be one of them where you're not just handing it to Derrick Henry, 40 times a game, because they're going to need Henry for the playoffs too, obviously, if they end up making them. So I don't think they want to, overwear, Derrick, especially off the amount of carries he had last season. So I love Keaton Mitchell. I think that if he ends up, at some point going to another team or they decide to move on from Derrick Henry, I'm telling you, I expect when he gets an opportunity, him to be just a stud. He is like in vein with like those Jamar Gibbs, Bijan type guys that he can take any carry, 80 yards to the house.
Yeah, I love Keaton Mitchell. I think he's probably my number 3 guy behind Allgeier and behind Corum. Tuten probably slightly behind Keaton Mitchell, but seriously, with this offense and with the way Lamar's struggling, the passing game's struggling, Justice Hill now on IR, he's a more powerful runner. I think he's a better.
He gets the pass. I don't know if he's going to get the passing downs. If that's going to be Ali, right, as the other guy, but if he ends up getting the passing downs, he would be like very valuable. Like rest of the season.
I can't see it being Rasheen Ali. I think it's going to be Keaton Mitchell. He's got 7 targets over the last 3 games. So I think that just kind of lives with Mitchell. Yeah, I love that. Chris Rodriguez, we saw him get some run last night, mostly as the RB1. But does that matter in this Washington offense? That's the question.
Yeah, it does. I would say that, if you are looking for a running back that is going to get volume, right? Which that's sort of the word, right? Like that's what I do with my DFS each week is like, nobody knows what these guys are going to do,
right?
But the more opportunities they have, the more likely they're going to do something good. And I just think that is a good case. And I just also want to remind people they have got the Vikings this week, which they're a pretty good run defense. But then the next 2 weeks, the Giants, who we were just talking about, who is the worst run defense in the NFL, followed up with the Eagles, which if you watch that Chicago game, you can run it on the Eagles right now. So,
yes.
And then, by the way, after that, he's got the Cowboys. That is an unbelievable playoff stretch for a guy that if he just continues to get the most carries out of this backfield in those games, it's worth it. So, like, you're picking him up probably not to play him this week versus the Vikings, but I would feel good about playing him the next 3 weeks versus the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I don't I want to love this Commanders team. I'm so happy about the ownership change. I feel like this is an actual winning culture that they've got in Washington for the first time since, I mean, quite honestly, the honorary captain Doug Williams days last night.
You think
So
Daniels is going to play another down this year?
No, and I don't think he should. There's no
I
reason
agree.
for.
No, I'm with you.
They're
I
out.
just was curious.
Save him for next year. Get a running back in the draft, like a real running back. Chris Rodriguez is fine, but they need like an
Just sign Tyler Allgeier.
Guy.
He's going to be a free agent.
I bet you Atlanta hangs on to him because Arthur Blank's like Dick Monfort over here in Denver, and he loves his guys.
I don't know if they're going to be able
to
pay
him a ton of money.
He reminds me so much of Michael Turner, who ironically the Falcons signed from the Chargers, but like a guy that had proven in his short time, like he can be the dude. People forget Allgeier, 1,000-yard rusher. He only started the second half of the games his rookie season. It's part of the reason why, again, taking Bijan over Jalen Carter was such a dumb move. But anyway, I think Allgeier is the kind of guy you put him in a good offense where then you have that wrecking ball that's going to get 3-4 yards every game. And Allgeier's more explosive than people think. I think he could be just an absolute stud home run play. And I'm going to be rooting for him wherever he goes because he hasn't fumbled. I mean, how many guys can go through their whole rookie contract without one fumble? Like, that's what you want from a back.
Greg Penner, if you're listening, Broncos need a running back next year. This would be a great ad. Tyler Allgeier. All right, before we move on to the wide receivers, got a couple of questions in the chat I want to get to, Keith. We got Tron Force on YouTube. Would you drop Dallas Goedert for Kyle Pitts or Zach Ertz? I mean, obviously Goddard's been really just not good the last 3 weeks. He's put up a total of 4 fantasy points the last 3 weeks. I would lean towards Pitts. With Kirk Cousins at quarterback, we're seeing Pitts get volume. Drake London's still out. We don't know when he's coming back. And even when he does, I still think Pitts is a feature piece of the Atlanta offense. Do you agree with me, Keith, or are you leaning Ertz?
It's tough because of Mariota. I guess he did kind of mix it up with Terry McLaurin last night, but it's just he struggles throwing it down the field. But I think I would say Pitts. I mean, it's more than anything just about, again, Cousins. Like he seems to be throwing it. Now we do need to preface it by saying so far Drake London, as crazy as it seems, has not played a game in any of the 3 games that Kirk Cousins has started this season. So that would obviously probably change it, slightly. But the bottom line is that Kyle Pitts has been targeted at an insane rate by Kirk Cousins. I'm pretty sure he has led in target share each week. If I can find that stat, I had it highlighted somewhere. I will come back and read it later. But yeah, I think I'd lean Pitts. He also just, I think, has more upside. And the Falcons they're just a mess, man, right now. It's sad, but the good thing about being a mess is you're going to be in a lot of throw situations, which I think they will. And Kirk Cousins can't throw it down the field. That's the other reason Pitts is getting so many targets.
Yep. Yeah, he works the middle of the field short routes, which is perfect for Cousins. We've got Let's Get It on YouTube as well. Fellas, I'm down by 6.5 PPR. I have Hendy, and he has the New England defense. What are we thinking? This is actually kind of tough because New England's defense could actually put on a show tonight against New York and Jackson Dart and this offense that's just limping along right now without a lot of their main key weapons. But I don't know if Henderson's going to be enough to overcome that 6 plus the defense.
I think you're going to be okay because I think that, again, the Giants' run defense is so bad. I think Henderson will at least score a touchdown. So that's 6 points right there. Let's call it even footing at that point. Jackson Dart has not taken a lot of sacks because of his ability to move around in the pocket. That is typically how New England racks up points.
Sure.
And I believe in Jackson Dart. I actually think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think. I actually worry that New England is going to be the one having a hard time protecting Drake May because they've lost 2 of their offensive linemen. And we know the Giants do have guys that can, right, like get after the quarterback. So I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be interesting. It's 2 of the best young QBs in the league. And I keep saying, I think the Giants, and it's probably going to be everybody saying this in 6 months, but I think they're going to be a sneaky, contender in the NFC next year because new coach. You hope you have neighbors back, Scattaboo. Like, there's talent on that Giants roster. And I can't get over how good Jackson Dart's been.
Well, I think we talked about this last week. I just feel like there are a couple of solid offensive linemen in a healthy season from Andrew Young away from being a team that's competing to win the NFC East. They're plenty good enough. They have the parts and pieces on defense and on offense.
And the Eagles look like they're imploding. Obviously with Daniels being hurt now a lot, like that makes Washington's future a little bit less, easy. And then obviously the Cowboys are, I have to admit though, the Cowboys are also a team that you beat the Chiefs and the Eagles in the span of 12 days. That's not nothing. I don't care what their records are.
We've seen plenty of teams with suspect defenses, but really powerful offenses go really far in the playoffs. They don't necessarily win championships, but this Dallas team is going to be a concern for the NFC. They're going to get into the playoffs. They're good enough to probably hurt some people in the playoffs. Tron Force needs a miracle. Up by 1 point, has a 36% chance to win with Dart and the Patriots kicker going tonight. That'd be Andy Borregales. His opponent has Stephon Diggs, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Ramondre Stevenson left.
Fine. Jackson Dart's going to carry you to victory, buddy. Like, that's 20 points there. We know that. That's basically Dart's floor.
And Borregales has been steady as hell. I mean, he's going to get kicks. 8 to 10 points from Borregales. I think you're going to be fine.
The only thing you'd have to worry about is obviously if Diggs has a big game, you might be in trouble because I would assume Wan'Dale is going to obviously get some points, from whatever Dart does. But that's a great thing about Dart is like he targets the tight end so much. He will be able to unlock Slayton, which most of the Giants quarterbacks have not been able to do. So like I think you have better than a 36% chance. I think that's almost a coin toss, to be honest.
Can anybody unlock Darius Slayton, though? I feel like that man was born in like some sort of wide receiver.
Oh, no. Come on now. Slayton won me so much money in DFS last year. It's insane. Like he is the king of the 3 for 104 and 2 touchdown stat lines.
Sure. Fair enough.
But he is banged up all the time and he also drops a lot of passes.
All right, we're going to move on to wide receivers. Speaking of Darius Slayton, the first one I want to talk about is Jalen Coker. We've already referenced him earlier. Shout out to our co-host, Kacey, who has been on Jalen Coker since last season, not only as a redraft ad, but as a
never wrong, just early.
Yeah, never wrong, just a little bit early. Jalen Coker's he was injured for the beginning of the season. We all really wanted to see him. We finally got him in week 7. He didn't do much, but then this past week, 6 targets, 4 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. But more importantly, he looked like a feature piece in this offense. This wasn't a fluke. This was him getting hyper-targeted behind over Tet McMillan, for that matter. This was a slow Tet McMillan week against the Rams, which makes sense. Better secondary. They're able to focus on McMillan. Still gets a touchdown. But I think Coker's here to stay. And like we talked about earlier, this is a team that's actually kind of scary, this Carolina team. Like they might quietly make some waves and piss some people off into season. And if they can sneak into the playoffs somehow, I like Jalen Coker a lot. I like Jalen Coker.
Not if the Dirty Birds have anything to do about it. We get to play them still. So
how did that go for you guys last time though?
It didn't go too well. I believe that we scored 0 points. That means we got them right where we want them. I'm with you. Like, Coker, great addition, but to me, it's the next guy, Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie, that if they are available with Tyrod Taylor now, I think it's safe to say, barring an injury, going to start the rest of the game for the Jets. Man, what a perfect quarterback for those two guys and their skill set, because Tyrod is, he's got a little Jameis Winston in him. He is not afraid to take chances, push the ball down the field. He's got a really good arm. Somebody has pretty good accuracy. And they're going to be down a ton. And those guys are getting hyper targeted. I mean, it is crazy. Like Adonai Mitchell has had a 30% target share every start with Tyrod Taylor. John Mechie's had a 25% target share. So like literally over half the passes are going to those two dudes, to where with Coker, I still think it's Tet McMillan and then Coker, right? Like Tet's going to always get, on a regular basis, more of the volume, to where I think with Mitchell and Mechie, it's going to be pretty close. They're both going to get a bunch of volume. And like I said, I just think the Jets are going to be throwing a ton because they're not any good. So I like them slightly more than Coker, but if I couldn't get them, Coker would be the ones I'm going after.
So I feel like Coker's slightly more reliable. Better offense. He's got that coverage from Tet McMillan. He's not going to face any of that 1A, 1B coverage from defenses. Whereas I think at this point, until Garrett Wilson comes back now, after 12 targets yesterday, AD Mitchell is going to be the focus of the number one cornerback on every defense. Makes me like Mechie a little bit more than AD Mitchell, but the problem with Mechie was those 3 drops yesterday. So you have to wonder how that's going to affect. So those are his last 3
Don't forget, though,
yesterday.
Mitchell, like from a separation standpoint, is as good as any receiver in the league at getting open. Like, honestly,
I know.
Like, he's consistently open. So I think even if defenses roll it, he has the ability to beat them. And I mean, that was actually, I thought, the most impressive part of that trade that the Jets did was getting back a guy that, AD Mitchell is a pain in the rear. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that's just pretty much what, from all accounts and from what I remember from him in Georgia, but dude can play. Like, he is a very, very talented receiver. And if you can now pair him with Garrett Wilson, moving forward, Jets are another team. You get a quarterback, all of a sudden I like that roster a lot.
Oh, we thought we were getting that with Justin Fields, and I really like this team. I like Aaron Glenn as a head coach. I think that he can take this team somewhere. When they get a quarterback, we'll talk, right? But yeah,
Well, they'll have 2 years to have multiple opportunities to get one. I think they have 4 or 5 first-round picks in the next couple of years. So
yeah, they're pretty loaded up. They're going to be just fine. If they get, I don't know, it's still Woody Johnson, but yeah, I mean, I'm taking AD Mitchell over Mechie. I like AD Mitchell a lot. I'm probably slightly higher on Coker than you are, just because I think it's better opportunity. But outside of those 3 guys, I mean, Pat Bryant, Dontayvion Wicks, Isaac TeSlaa.
TeSlaa is interesting to me because he's on the field now a lot and he's talented. I mean, he continues to score touchdowns despite not running a ton of routes. So he is we saw, who was it? Was it Tim Patrick last year? Somebody I know for the Lions kept scoring touchdowns. It was Tim Patrick. Kept scoring touchdowns as that third option, right? Despite not seeing a lot of volume. And if you're, again, weak at receiver or, just need, one extra flex or whatever, TeSlaa is somebody that I would at least consider.
The only thing that concerns me, he's only been targeted more than once.
Yeah, and Carly made a good point. St. Brown is injured now as well. So add that to
which is fair,
and Laporta.
Look, TeSlaa is interesting to me. The kid's clearly talented, and he just kind of just grabs touchdowns. I don't know. He's got good hands. I'm more interested in him than I am Pat Bryant in Denver because this offense is too spread out. They need to consolidate.
So frustrating.
If they do, I had this conversation with Herms over at FTN last night. Even if they do consolidate this offense, the Pat Bryant's not going to be involved at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Any more fashion than he's involved now. I like him for a boom play. Like
he's a good player, but like when you got Franklin, you got Sutton, like they have better. They even have a better big play weapon in Mims, right? Like.
Well, and you're also seeing Adam Troutman get involved, Evan Ingram get involved, Adam Prentice, the tight end, the fullback is getting involved. So there's just a lot of room for him. And Dontayvion Wicks, really cool that he had 28 PPR points.
Christian Watson is the guy in Green Bay. We were all over that last week. And on Thursday, it proved, in that case, we knew what we were talking about because he is now unquestionably the number 1 target in that offense. It has gone up now for 4 straight weeks, and I expect him to continue to be the guy that they're going to pepper with targets. And then Wicks, unfortunately, still falls into the category of all the other Green Bay pass catchers, including Watson up until just a couple of weeks ago, that who knows, right? Like week to week, it's going to be completely different.
His snap share lives right around 50 to 60 every week. That's not changing, but the target share isn't consistent. And Wicks is going to have these boom games. It reminds me of Jaden Reed. We got hyped on Jaden Reed because he'd have a couple of big games.
When's he coming back? Shouldn't he be coming back soon? They need him.
They need more than just Jaden Reed, man.
I mean, that's fair, but I'm saying he would at least help. It would give him another guy that's had, really big success, which he did last year in the NFL. I just think that, he's also going to bring so much speed and stuff and versatility. I was just curious because I thought that he was supposed to have returned by now. Oh, there you go. Carly,
Yep,
once again, she's just a wealth of knowledge.
No, she knows. Yep. And she's correct. I literally just pulled it up on Google. But she is. Guys, if you want to take advantage of that knowledge that Carly's dropping on here, head on over to Blue Sky.
She's not just a pretty face, ladies and gentlemen. She is also super smart, wicked smart. As I just
way smarter than all of us.
In the Northeast. Well, that's not saying much for me, but Carly's actually smart. So
yeah. At news.optimusfantasy.com on Blue Sky, dropping up to the minute news. It's going to give you the updates as they happen, guys. It'll keep you ahead of your league mates. Make sure you go and check that out. All right, Lou, Keith. Lou. I've been talking to Lou all day. Stuck in my brain. We're going to move over to tight ends here. This is a far less crowded room. Cole Kmet is an interesting option. We're seeing him split time with Colston Loveland. The problem with Kmet for me is it's a toss-up as to whether he's going to score a touchdown.
Doesn't it feel like, though, that Loveland has separated himself as like the 1A? And that, yeah.
Oh, okay. 100% it does.
Okay.
And this is where I'm at with Colston Loveland, where you can start Colston Loveland every week. He's seeing enough volume. 7 targets, 4 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, and 6 targets the last few weeks. He's got 3 touchdowns, but he's been nearly fantasy relevant every week. Cole Kmet has to score a touchdown, but he's the one who's widely available.
Yep.
The way I'm looking at this is the Bears are a really good offense. They're the best team in the NFC right now, which makes me want to throw up just a little bit in my mouth.
I love it.
To quote Christina Applegate in Anchorman. Yeah, I do too. I think it's freaking great. And I think it's great for Bears fans, right? Like, this is much better than
don't get ahead of your skis, Bears fans, because I don't think it's gonna end great, but I'm very happy for him.
Sure.
Caleb is good. They got a great coach and Ben Johnson. Like, there is no denying that. Worth the wait. And and I also like what their front office is doing. I don't even know who their GM is, but he's made some really smart moves over the last year and showed other organizations how to, when your rookie quarterback or, that you've already invested so much in struggles, help them. Like, improve the offensive line, get them more weapons. Amazingly, look what Caleb looks like. Yeah.
It's still Ryan Pace, dude. Hasn't changed.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, we got Lou dropping in the chat, noticing that I said his name instead of yours. I know. I'm going to be in trouble at home. Justin Herbert considered day-to-day. Just a note, post-surgery, he had that hand surgery today. Jose Rodriguez, I need 24 points from May. I see that as difficult. I don't at all. Drake May is one of the best in the league right now. He's a top 5 quarterback.
He should run more too. Giants run man at one of the highest rates in the NFL. What does man defense do? It means a lot of defenders have their back to the quarterback.
Yep.
Meaning I could see May have a big rushing day, which will really make the 24 points a lot easier. Say if he had, 50 yards and a touchdown, that's 11 points right there. So I'm pulling for you, man.
Yep. Good luck, Jose. Darren Waller's back. 2 targets, 2 catches, 47 yards before he got dinged up.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Any interest in Darren Waller, even as like a streamer over the next couple of weeks?
The only guy really on this list that go get is Brenton Strange. Like, if you didn't go get Brenton Strange last week or the week before when we were recommending that as well, okay. But if he's still out there, go get him. Like, he is going to be a focal point in this Jags offense rest of the season. Like, him and TeSlaa have a connection. That was the case last year. It was like one of the few people he had a connection with before he got hurt. And again, the proof's in the pudding. He had 90 yards first week, touchdown the second. Like, Brenton Strange is probably going to be a top 12 tight end rest of the season.
So, I feel close to the same about Colby Parkinson, just because we're continually seeing him get targets. He seems to be the top tight end, even though the other, like Davis Allen, saw a couple of targets. Tyler Higbee saw a couple of targets, but it's more filtering towards Parkinson. But I'm going after Brenton Strange ahead of him. And I'm also going after Brenton Strange over Evan Ingram, even though, again,
oh yeah,
we're seeing him get more involved in this Denver offense, but there's no
it's
consistency to
so
what
much
Sean
more
Payton
spreading
does.
it out. And I mean, that's the thing with Parkinson. Like, you're right, but my concern is, where the ball is going in the red zone, right? Like, more than likely it's going to Devontae Adams, if not probably Puka, if not probably Kyron. And then again, their volume is so heavy that I don't see him, consistently getting the targets that he would need, to where, like, even, Brenton Strange and Darren Waller, they're going to get, I think, consistent targets because they don't really have a lot of other options in their passing game.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it's Brenton Strange for me. If you're streaming tight ends, and Strange
really
isn't available. I don't hate Parkinson this week.
Nope.
I don't hate Waller this week either. I think they'd both be good options if you're kind of floating around there. All right, we're going to get to the kickers here real quick because likely you're streaming these as well. Not a whole lot of leagues still carry this position, but I'm going to roll you through three I really like this week.
Let's go.
I know, buckle up.
Kicker corner.
Evan McPherson over in Cincinnati. Guys, I don't know what we're doing here and why he's not more rostered. In kicker leagues, he's only 27% rostered. In sleeper, he's currently the kicker 5, but he's kicker 2 since week 7.
And kicker Pittsburgh. 1 in my heart. So that's
kicker 1 in my heart too. Look, he's on an offense that's finally producing. He's getting a lot of opportunity for field goals as well as extra points. Burrow's back. This is a team that misguidedly believes they have a shot at making the playoffs, even though in their division they might, which is gross. But it's true. I like Evan McPherson. And like, if you're a kicking streamer, he's a guy you can go get and you can be done with it for the rest of the season. Bye weeks are past. Lock Evan McPherson in. He's almost a guaranteed 8 fantasy points per week at this point. Riley Patterson, though, over in Miami, kind of the same deal. He took over in week 2. Jason Sanders ended up on IR, and Patterson has been the overall kicker 9 since he took over in week 2. He's currently kicker 14. He's had some off and on weeks, but they've got the Jets, they've got the Steelers, they've got the Bengals, and then they've got the Bucks rest of season in Miami. For some reason, inexplicably, these are winnable games for this Miami team, and this is an offense that stalls a lot, right? Which is what I like in kickers. Like, I want these offenses that stall.
Well, they run a lot too, which is really good, right? Like, they have turned into a heavy run attack over the last 4 weeks, and that leads to more field goals. Like, it just does.
Well, what I said in the waiver wire article today, where Riley Patterson is one of the people that I like, is Devon Achane is their entire offense, right?
Yeah.
And he's fantastic, but he can only take them so far. What that leads to is a lot of stalled drives and a lot of field goal opportunities for Patterson, and the dude just isn't missing this year. Same thing with the Houston offense, which is why I like Kai May Fairbairn rest of season. I think he's overall kicker 4 right now, I believe.
He's a stud.
He's a stud. Yeah, he's kicker 4 right now. And that's with missing 2 games from injury. Dropped 9 points on Indy this past week. They've got Kansas City. Then after Kansas City, Arizona, Las Vegas, and the Chargers. These are all good matchups for kickers. These are all 3 guys. I mean, really, rest of season, you can stop streaming the position.
And you can see Houston why they kick a lot of field goals. When you have a defense that good, you're okay settling for points. Like, to me, where a lot of teams, well, do we need to try to get a touchdown here? Because it's like with Houston, they're like, let's just take the points. Our defense will, hold it off. And that's why I think he gets so many opportunities, even having missed 2 games.
Well, and when you've got a guy like Fairbairn's made 8 from 30 plus, 9 from 40 plus, and 5 from 50 plus this year.
It's pretty good.
He's got an accurate deep leg. So if you want to get off of streaming those kickers, he's a guy to do it with. But folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. Got Monday Night Football coming up between the New England Patriots and the New York Giants. You can find that game on ESPN, streaming or on your local cable. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. If you've got more questions about the waiver wire, check out our Discord link in the show description. We are there to help you win your waiver wire this week and hopefully get into the fantasy playoffs. And if you want some help with streamers for the playoffs, come check out the website tomorrow. We have an article dropping that is going to blow your mind and help you get through the fantasy playoffs with kickers and defensive streamers. Look for that on optimusfantasy.com. Also, make sure to check out tools.optimusfantasy.com. Use the promo code GIFTOPTIMUS to get the rest of the fantasy season for free with our expert data tools. For Keith Flemming and Little Nico, I'm Nate Polvogt. We'll see y'all next week for the Waiver Wires, getting ready for the fantasy playoffs. Adios, friends.